Hello and welcome back to Behind the Curve Collecting. In this week's episode, I've actually picked myself up quite a good PlayStation 3 deal, or at least I think so. Now, I want to talk a little bit about my PlayStation 3 kind of collecting, my collecting habits, what I'm collecting for, what I'm really doing with the PlayStation 3, because I wasn't a PlayStation 3 kid, I was a 360 kid. So, because I've got quite a big Xbox 360 library, I don't really see the need to duplicate that across the PS3, so I'm not really picking up just loads of games whenever I come across them, cheap or not really. But I do like quite a specific line of games which are on PS3, and that is the Essentials, PS3 Essentials. It gives me like a goal, an objective, a target, because I'm not just collecting all the games or loads of games. It gives me something to kind of like zone in on. And it's quite an obvious thing to see, obviously, because it's striking red. In a world of like Platinums, which are typically a PlayStation type thing, or Xbox 360 Classics, or maybe PlayStation Hits, or random like bestsellers and things like that kind of series, they're kind of, well, they're just drab. There's lots of greys and like meh silvers and things in there. They don't particularly stand out. I've never liked the look of them whatsoever. But the Essentials, visually speaking, is very striking. It's very bold with that kind of, well, that just red everything. And it means that in a generation when a lot of the spines and covers and things just would not line up whatsoever, because there's all sorts of things going on in terms of colors and fonts, that typically lining these all up together is going to be quite aesthetically pleasing. Which just leads me nicely into a few of the games I've picked up recently for the PlayStation 3. So let's get into those, shall we? Right, so I think I paid £7 on Vinted delivered for both of these games. And you're going to love this one, Pro Evolution Soccer 2015. Now, I want to say that some late sports titles, like as in 2015 on the PS3, that was probably a year or two after the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One launched. Late sports releases on previous gen consoles won't have got picked up as much, so they should be rarer or harder to find, or the ones that collectors look out for. So in terms of investment, they should be a bit of money. I don't think that is one of these. I think this one's cheap. I just saw it and I bundled it with this and just thought, yes, I'll look like £1, or whatever it cost me, I'll get it. It's got the matching Essentials disc, that's exactly what I need. And the other one, which I did need, because I have the case for this, and unfortunately back in my early picking up random Essentials, I didn't realise, or maybe I didn't see in the bundle, if there's no pictures of it, it didn't come with the matching disc. So this one does come with the right disc, and weirdly enough, the case is absolutely demolished. I can bin the case and put the disc in. Star Wars The Force Unleashed 2. I was a massive fan of the first game. Who wouldn't want to like roleplay as a Dark Force user with all these incredibly OP powers, which got a little bit out of hand, let's face it, at least when you compare them to canon and wherever this is in the timeline. Yeah, I don't think this guy was roaming around pulling Star Destroyers out of the air, but hey ho. Now unfortunately this one, I remember getting it and it being like a 3 or 4 hour campaign and being a little bit disappointing. Obviously they went in and just everything was bigger, but they could only go so far, but you could tell that it felt rushed. I think it came out quite quickly. Following on from probably the success of the first one, which I remember having like a lot of DLCs and a lot of add-ons, and it really was a really good game. But yeah, I didn't mind this. It was a good game. It was just a bit short and a bit meh, at least after the first one. So, matching Essentials, no manual, but I've already got it, so it's absolutely fine. So yeah, for those two titles, I believe it was around £7. Now, this one, I'd like your opinions on, because this is Super Street Fighter 4 Arcade Edition. I've never actually, I don't think I've played a Street Fighter. I've never, one of those kids growing up into Tekken and Street Fighter and those types of fighting games. Now, I've got a bit of a hankering to play this because in theory it should be quite easy to just pick up and jump into a fight. I don't really care about story or anything. I just want to pick it up and have some fun. And it being, 2-player, I can play it with my son. But yeah, let me know down in the comments, is Super Street Fighter 4 Arcade Edition a good entry point into the Street Fighter series? Yeah, I don't know, but it does look like a good bit of fun. So I'm happy I picked that up. I think I got that for around £5 delivered as well. I want to say that's pretty decent. I think the game is like, £5 at CEX, so I'm not paying over the odds or anything for that, so that's quite good. So this good deal on the PS3 that I've alluded to, not the Essentials, that's just something that I'm collecting for, something that I'm doing, at the moment at least. It's been kind of in shot all this time, but I got absolute beauty. Picked it up on Vinted. PlayStation 3 super slim 12GB complete in box, should I say. This came up for £50, and there is a reason why I just bought it. I didn't offer, I just bought it. And that's not only because if you want to pick up, you know, complete in box PS3 anything, you're probably typically looking more like 70, 80, maybe even £100. Not to say this is in like pristine condition, but the box is in good condition. Now these PS3 boxes, they're kind of like an outer sleeve box, and then they've got the inner box, and where you lift this up and then put that box back in, you always get these tears on the corners. I've had that before. But other than that, it's in really good condition. And the console itself actually all works. I'll put that right here. So I didn't have a game at hand, at least when I plugged this in to test it, but I just had a Blu-ray because let's not forget, even in 2006 when I think the PlayStation came out, it came out fully fledged with a Blu-ray player, which was lovely, and that just worked, so happy days. It did come complete with a DualShock 3. I've got instructions in there, I've got like the little cardboard things which hold the console in there. So yeah, complete in box, £50, not bad. Now obviously it is the super slim, which is like, you know, the budget end of the spectrum when it comes to PlayStation 3s, a bit plastically, a little bit, we've got all this silicone left over, let's just whack it out at budget price to get more and more people on the system before we move on to the PlayStation 4. And as well as it being the 12GB model, so it's not got a traditional hard drive. I believe it's kind of like more of a flash memory type deal. You're not obviously going to be installing games on that, but in theory I should just be able to put a hard drive in there and expand that storage, no problem at all, hopefully. Not done that on 12GB, but should be the same. But that wasn't it. So that was £50 plus a little bit of postage and fees, so maybe 57 all told. But that wasn't, you know, that in itself I think is like a decent deal if that is something that I wanted. But there's something, well, there's a couple of things that kind of added to the deal, which I thought, you know what, I'm just gonna buy it rather than offer or try and haggle or go looking around. I'll just buy it then and there when it came up. I just want to quickly just say how pleasing it is, right? That you can get a console going back from all the way to 2006 now and plug it in via HDMI. You can connect it to the internet. You can install and download updates and things. Obviously there's no store anymore, but you can still update the system and the games themselves will still receive the updates when you install them and that kind of thing. And it's just so pleasing that a console that is nearly 20 years old, or in this case 15 years old, but the PS3 itself, you just plug in and play that 7th generation console, was really, that was kind of like the birth of our modern day plug and play gaming, where you just plug it in and it works. There's no adapters, it's not component, it's not composite, it's not in S-Video, it's not SCART, there's no adapters. A modern TV has a HDMI, plug it in and away you go. It's still very easy, and we're nearly at 20 years. And it's still a Blu-ray player. Let's not forget, it still has capability even in today's world. So without further ado, let's get into what I thought made this an incredible deal. And that is still sealed Call of Duty Ghost. Yes, indeed. Wow. Call of Duty Ghost still sealed on the PS3. Can you tell my absolutely sarcastic enthusiasm and excitement for this yet? No, I lie. That wasn't what made me buy it. So what did make me buy it? So tying in with the theme of Essentials, this is the Essentials edition of Red Dead Redemption Game of the Year. Still sealed with the official PS3 seal around it from God knows how old this is, probably 15 years old now. All wrapped up in that £50 PS3 bundle deal. I thought that was pretty good. You know, it came up on Vinted. I went, okay, PS3 with a couple of games, I think it said something like that. I might put the description up if I can see it. And I looked at the pictures and I saw COD and I saw this and I was like, they still sealed? And I looked at it a little bit more and that they are. And I'm assuming that, okay, this might not be incredibly expensive or anything, but it's on the Essentials. It's the best version of Red Dead that you'd want. So I'll be like, well, I want that in my Essentials collection anyway. I'm already getting a pretty acceptable deal with the console by itself. yeah, let's just buy it, because someone's going to pick it up, right? And probably then list this on eBay for like, I don't know, 50 quid or something, brand new and sealed Red Dead Redemption. Obviously this isn't, I'm not going to open it, this isn't the best way to play it anymore. I think in the last week, there's just been news that they are going to release a current gen update for Red Dead Redemption for PlayStation 5 and Series X, even though it's already received a remaster, obviously, and a re-release for PlayStation 4 and Xbox One. I still think Red Dead Redemption 2 is still stuck at like 30 FPS on consoles. Yeah, I think the fans are kicking off about why do you keep doing this one? Why can't you do this one? But hey, if you want to play it properly, play it on PC, probably. So yeah, really happy about that. There was supposed to be a little bit more to this video. It's planning for this went absolutely fine. It was going to be an overarching large PS3 video. I've got a couple more things I wanted to show. And even though it's only November, I've been let down already 3 times in the last week or so for postage. I just have things which just aren't arriving, or they're getting automatically sent back before they even get to me. So there's supposed to be another couple of nice collection games for the PS3 that I was going to add to it, and nowhere to be seen. And it's annoying because they were a good price and they were collector's editions as well. So it's not something that you're going to come across all the time. You can't just go back on eBay and Vinted and just buy it again for a good price. So a bit bummed out on that one. So there we have it, just a nice quick glimpse at my current state of PlayStation 3 collecting. Why I'm not collecting everything, but I'm trying to be selective, right? The Essentials gives me something that is visually, it gives me a target or objective to go for, make sure it's got the matching disc in. I don't need to build a massive PS3 library, because obviously I've got quite a big 360 library. We all know for the most part the 360 plays the games better anyway. So apart from exclusives, collector's editions, or just coming across Essentials when I come across them, I will say that I'm obviously not going to go for the full set because I am not an absolute madman. But if I can just get a nice collection of them, like I've already got around 20, and they're just visually striking, right? And I quite like that, it's cool. So yeah, thank you very much for watching. Please do like, comment and subscribe as always, and I hope to see you in the next video. Thank you very much.